Okay, so finished the hair and pretty much outlining the sections that I wanted to outline. I can show you what I have. So this is kind of how it came out. So with the hair and the eyebrows. Now some of this stuff over here to your right, pictures left side of the face. If you remember, I'll probably color that in with black. So it'll have like a nice shadow going across this side of the face. That's why I didn't worry about putting in any of that, the hairlines or anything like that. Um, and that'll be in the next step. But this step right here should be hopefully a little bit shorter. But so one thing that you'll notice in comics and everything is crosshatching. And if you're not familiar with crosshatching, it's a way to shade with an instrument that can't give you different values based off like your pressure, like a pencil or even a ballpoint pen or something like that. Um, so if you're using India ink or if you're inking with a digital program, as we are now, if I press on this even lightly, it'll just give me like a small line if I press. So that's not really going to do that much as far as shading goes because it's still the same value of black. And I can even make this line a little bit bigger. So if I press really lightly, like all it does is still the same value of black, still the same color. So one thing that you could do is crosshatch. So I would hit the left bracket, make sure it's all the way down. You can double click on this icon if you remember and make sure, or even just change the size right here down to 1. Make sure the variation is at 1. Um, I would also, I'd say it's probably okay to kind of put back, probably not going to matter that much, but you could put back the fidelity back to that 2 section. And then we can turn back on our photograph and we can see there's little areas right down around the eyes and all that stuff that for me personally, I'm not going to put all the way to black. So one thing I could do in order to add some depth is by adding some shading, which I would do that with cross hatching. So you could zoom in, Control Plus. You could use the shortcut for your hand tool, whether it's the pen or the space bar. And you can just kind of find some areas. So maybe like somewhere around here. And then what you can do is you can just kind of make little lines that will kind of give you a sense that this area is darker. Now, um, if you're not familiar with the process of cross hatching, there's a different styles of cross hatching. You kind of have, this is what you would maybe more typically see in like a comic book, maybe from Marvel or DC or something like that. There's also a very nice style where you kind of almost crisscross, and then the closer it gets, the the darker it is. Um, Undo all of that. So that's a style that you could use. If you use this comic book style right here, same principles apply. The thicker the line, the darker it may be. So if you go right here and then you kind of go down and then you go thinner, And then also the further away the line is, that is kind of the value shift in order for it to be lighter. Get rid of those. You can, that same principle can apply with your thin lines. So maybe right down here, maybe I want to add some more, even though there's going to be quite a bit in black. Maybe I cross some of that, therefore adding more value, more of a value shift for that. Because if it crosses, then that's like the lines getting closer, therefore being darker than this other area. So that's just something to keep in mind. The closer the lines, the darker that value grade is, as far as it is implying. And the further away, the lighter it is. So one thing you can do is kind of cross them like that, but maybe don't go all the way. Then that section is maybe has a darker appearance than this other section over here. I'm not necessarily worrying too much about the precision of my lines. That is up to you. Is kind of, I guess, the style that I've grown accustomed to. If Marvel or DC were to look at it, they may have a difference of opinion on that. But just remember, I mean, there's not really a wrong way to do this. This is just kind of it's up to you and how you want it to look and your style, and just how you want to approach it. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and maybe add some more cross-hatching in certain areas. You can use the photograph as a guide. You can make it up. I mean, it's kind of up to you. And remember, you can cross them to make it maybe a little bit darker in certain areas, or you don't have to. Again, I mean, it's really kind of up to you. The beauty of art is that it is subjective. There's not really a wrong way to do it. Just have some fun with it, and good luck.